Hi, friends. It is Wednesday, and you're watching Cosmically Connected with me, your host, psychic medium Cortney Kane Sides. And I'm so grateful that you're here. Let's give it a few moments for everybody to start joining us, right? We're here on the Forbidden Knowledge Network. And I'm so grateful again that you guys are joining me every Wednesday. We have been having such a great time talking about the most beautiful spiritual topics, answering so many different questions, having amazing guests. And I so appreciate you coming back every Wednesday to be with me. It looks like we are live. Let's see here. Usually we've got a little countdown going, but tonight we're doing a little something different. So if you were with me here, give me an emoji here in the comments below so that I can see that we are live and connected. Let's see here, everybody. Now, I want to tell you about a quick something tomorrow. You know, many of you guys know about my VIP Inner Circle. And tomorrow night, I'm going to have with me as a guest on in our VIP Inner Circle, Olivia Smith with the Earthing Effect. And so the Mother Earth, I think it's the Mother Earth Effect. She wrote that amazing book with Elizabeth Hoekstra, and I'm so excited for her to come on with me tomorrow night. So if you guys are going to be interested in that, in a beautiful spiritual community, make sure that you go to CourtneyKaneSides.com. I'll put that here for you. And go ahead and join my VIP Inner Circle. It's $11 a month. It is less than a cup of coffee, my friends, and join me there tomorrow. Again, we are live with that beautiful community with everybody from around the world. And so, guys, thank you again for being here. I see that so many of you are with us. Tonight, we have a really cool topic, something that I'm seeing in so many different of my private clients. They're having this amazing spiritual awakening, and many of them are asking themselves, am I crazy? Should I be validating some of these experiences I'm having? Should I speak out loud about them? And they're feeling very alone in their knowing, in their experience. And so if this is something that you find yourself in, let me know. Say, that's me, Court. Say, I'm going through that right now. Maybe you have been having, signs and symbols find you throughout your lifetime. And maybe it's fallen dormant in your life or in your spirit. And then now in the last few years, you've been having this rise of connection yet again. You're having things come through, confirmation, synchronicities that you just can't explain away. If that's you, I see Dawn says that's me. James says for a while, but it hasn't felt nice. Okay, see? So guys, there's Sebastian. Sebastian, my friend, I see you here. Thank you, Sebastian. I think that's the Sebastian I met at the Conscious Awards. If that's you, Sebastian, say, yep, that's me. Again, I love it. Yeah, so many of you guys are having that experience. So listen, I want you to understand that it's so healthy for you to ask yourself, am I crazy? Am I making this up? It's beautiful for you to ask yourself this. And for me, I believe that if we're brave enough to ask those questions and actually do the work to find those answers, not just by going to somebody like myself, but to other people outside of yourself to confirm that, if you can do that inner work so that you know what you're connected to, then you're going to understand and be able to validate your own connection in time. Look here, I want to read some of these to you. Holy says, does anybody believe that spiritual sickness is a real thing? I think that it can be. I think that there's different ways that we can work through it. I do believe, that we might notice those things for a while. You may even ebb and flow in your connection, whether you have physical symptoms, even emotional illnesses too. Sometimes, it's different. But once we learn how to protect our energy, when I point in this time here, it always feels as though our guides and angels to me are saying, really, really listen. Okay. And when you really, really get clear with the way that you protect your own energy, I do believe that we can at times and most times rise above any of the negative, connections with this spiritual gift. Okay. Somebody says Reiki is so important. Yes, I think that you might be able to find those different things that you tune into. So, many of us might be seeing, yes, those signs, those synchronicities. You're having those dreams. We're going to get to some of those dreams, even an element of feeling detached. How many of you, I wish I could see you guys. This is the thing, guys, with that VIP inner circle. I can see you. You can see me. We actually see each other and answer questions verbally. So I really encourage you guys when we're done tonight to go over to that website again and join my inner circle. Okay. Join my inner circle so that we can connect and answer these questions real direct with each other. Okay. But yes, those dreams, you've been having those dreams. They're becoming more premonitions. You're receiving signs and symbols in these dreams. You may even be connecting with your own loved ones, your ancestors. They might be bringing you messages, right? Giving you this bit of information, and you may not even understand what to do with it, right? When you learn to connect to you and your fullness, your gifts, your abilities, you're going to be able to be better than to understand everything that's coming within your energy. The comments tonight are just rolling so fast. I'm so grateful you guys are here. Thank you. Yes. And when you are noticing that you're receiving in so many different ways, it can be very overwhelming. It can be very overwhelming. And so listen, there's a fine line between doing this work in a really beautifully productive and emotionally healthy way, let me tell you, or doing it in a way that really can take over your life. And I want to say there's an element of responsibility, or I believe it does, or we have that responsibility, by the way, that we get to decide if we're going to use this in a really beautiful way and actually have also a beautiful life. How many of you have seen healers or, spiritual teachers that, yes, have a beautifully true gift, but their life is not reflective, right, of the light, if you will? Maybe it's that they're drained. They're not making healthy boundaries with the gift. They may not, Steve says, so overwhelming. It can be, right? Thank you, Renan. Renan says, she seems so genuine. Thank you, my friend. Let's see here. I had my third eye. Darian says, I had my third eye open when I was visiting the temple. Let's see, of Nepal. The monks guided our Reiki and meditation through deep hypnosis. When I get back to my usual life, I lost most of the effects. But listen, let me tell you, you understand, let's talk in terms of frequencies. You've had that experience, and through that meditative practice, your energy, your DNA, you on a cellular level can pinpoint, can go back to that experience and pull it down here in the now. I find that the only way that we can have direct access to those energies is if we're really making beautiful boundaries within our daily life, within our daily practice. Do you guys understand and know that, I don't necessarily meditate the way I did so many years ago. I would meditate, once, twice a day for 20 minutes, right? Sometimes longer. On a Saturday or on a day that I had more time, I'd sit in the traditional meditative pose, do a mudra, all the things. And today I meditate and I connect to source, to guides, moment to moment with my breath. And when we make these habits a daily practice, we are really then able, if you listen to this podcast, you've heard me breathe, watched me do this, call on those guides and angels, connect to our own energies within that breath. I'm honoring what I receive, but at least pushing it right to about there, so that I don't feel it all as if it's mine. How many of you are, yes, healers in this and watching live with us tonight? How many of you are healers and get overwhelmed? How many of you are intuitives? You receive information and yet it's very difficult for you to decipher whether it's yours or somebody else's, right? How many of you say, yes, me, or give me a heart emoji? Let me see that. If you're having those experiences, it is because, in my belief, that you're having that because you have not quite conquered that space of yours yet. And how in the world can we really understand anybody else in the world around us if we don't fully understand our own energy, right? We're not taught to take up space. We're not taught to keep firm, beautiful boundaries. But I'm telling you, the world is calling you to do so now. Look at all of those hearts, all of those yeses. And so those of you who have been having those beautiful dreams of intuition, of connection, of premonitions, you're having that detached energy, which doesn't always feel good, by the way. A spiritual awakening doesn't always come with light, fluffy butterflies and cardinals, right? Ah, Tamsin says it's about oneness. That's right, my friend. So if we don't practice the oneness within this space, how in the world can we understand the rest of the energy around us, right? I don't believe that we can. In order to understand any of this energy, we must do the inner work to, first of all, heal through our own BS, our own difficult experiences, and understand and not condemn them, by the way. How many of you have been having things pop up from the past come up yet again? I twitch as I say that. Oh, it's not always easy. And then having to look at those issues, those situations, those hurts, those pains, those traumas, even with new healed eyes of today. Yes. Kristen says, I keep ginger on hand for nausea whenever I feel dense energy. I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing the way that you maybe process that. I just got chills as I said it. So, reevaluating your beliefs. If you're on this path and maybe you started by asking questions, how do I believe the way that I was raised? Do I believe the things that I was told? Maybe it's time for you to start diving into information. I know for me, as I raised my daughters, and more so my oldest, I remember asking all the questions, really diving into all different religions, wanting to really do the work. I was raised Southern Baptist and really love and honor some of those different traits and things that I was raised with, but leaving some of those things that really no longer serve me, some of the judgments or the separateness, even within some of those things in the way that I was raised, right? Where sometimes church was going and having the prettier dress, right? I remember that. I remember elements of separation when my mother passed and my father would come to church, and the preacher would make comments about my father being there and him being very surprised that he was there. It's very interesting when you go back and you really dissect, is that really God? Was that source? Or can I be connected moment by moment with my breath to source and to God? Do we have to go under one certain roof to do this in a way that we were told had to be done, right? Interesting, right? So it's one of those things where if you're asking yourself these hard questions, Jersey Loon says, what if I am crazy? Listen, I think we need to really ask ourselves. I think it's a beautiful question. I think we need to honor our healing, our mental health. I do think that we need to make sure we're surrounding ourselves by people who will actually tell us the truth as well. So making sure that we ask those questions. Many of you who have taken my development classes that I teach, many of you that are clients of mine, you will hear me very often reference the I'm Not Crazy book. You should do your own homework, asking yourself, is this wishful thinking? Is this my ego, by the way, as we're going through this spiritual awakening? We should be asking ourselves those hard questions. Yes. I know the divinely schizophrenic. Looky there. It's important. What's interesting is I had a client today. This particular person is the head of a psych ward, an RN there that manages that floor. They've been a client of mine for quite some time. And this person is doing this work, but they also have connections with their own guides and angels. I love people who understand that they must take care of their emotional and mental health. Because if we're not taking care of that and we're connecting to spirit, guess what, guys? It's a fine little veil. Can you go off into a realm that you think is safe that isn't? Yeah, you can. That's why connecting with people who will teach you protection, spiritual protection, that people who work within the light, right? People who will, again, have clear, beautiful boundaries with you, people who will teach you and help you learn about those boundaries if that's something that you are not very comfortable with. So until you have a really steady footing in all of those other places, do I advise people to connect spiritually to their gifts and abilities? I think if you're doing it for you, I think that's okay. It's when we start trying to help the world around us when we still yet need all that help. And by the way, that never really ends. We always need help for ourselves, right? We always need to be doing that emotional, mental, physical work. But who are you allowing in to help? Really start to ask yourself that, right? And when you start to align yourself with what feels like truth, heart, and a healthy state of mind, you're going to start really allowing those hard questions to be answered. Um, I love all the questions. Look at that. You're going to start allowing yourself, you're also not going to be bothered by those questions, too. Uh, Tamsin says, only love and light. That's right. So I remember back many years ago, and back in the day when I first started to get into, feeling, very often if we're getting negative energy, it's because we haven't attuned to the higher frequency or even healed, I want to say yet. I know that some people might be offended by that, but I believe that if we're getting a lot of really negative energy, it's because we need to create better boundaries. We need to start to clear energy. And that means even our own internal world, right? What are we allowing in? What are we participating in, right? Watching again that mental and emotional health, making sure that we're looking for, somebody says, face those demons, face the dark, right? And how in the world can we understand the highest frequency of energy, of truth, of heart, of healing if we don't fully process the dark things from our life? We all have it in certain different ways, right? Heal yourself first to heal others. I agree, my friend. So yes, those dreams, I saw somebody say symbolic dreams. This is what I encourage you to do, my friends, is get that notebook. Write it down. Most people say, well, all of my experiences, they're so profound, I don't need to write them down. You're not writing them down so that you can remember. You're writing them down to see how far you've come. You're essentially, this is your science. This is your backing. You're collecting your own data, right? You're collecting your own information. Guys, I want to pause here. If you have a friend that needs to hear this, do me a favor, send this to them. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribing. And again, write down that website, CourtneyKaneSides.com. I want you guys to be in my VIP inner circle tomorrow. We've got Olivia Smith there. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see you there. I will get to see you. You'll get to see me. We'll get to see each other. It'll be amazing. And we can even take more questions on this topic face to face in that group. So make sure you come join tomorrow night. It's going to be amazing. 6 o'clock Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Let's see. I am Mama says, thank you, Courtney. I am in the right place and not crazy. I am with like-minded ones. So how many too, by the way, in your spiritual journey, and I love that, my friend, how many of you feel as though you've been so alone, right? How many of you have felt like on your spiritual quest, you really don't have somebody that you trust that you can share this information with? I remember through my awakening, maybe having one or two people at random times to be able to really process these things with. And nowadays it's more of an open topic, right? You can go to Instagram, you can go YouTube, TikTok, all the things, but it's a little bit more open today than it was 20, 25, 30 years ago. Derek says, I love being alone. So when we like ourselves and we do that inner work, we typically do, don't we? So I encourage you, if you are and have been walking through this spiritual awakening of you, really honor all that you're receiving, and making sure again that you're writing and tracking these things down for you. So if you're still wanting to have validation in your own life, your own knowing, you're wanting to get confirmation of these gifts that you receive, that you have insights that are coming through. You may receive information, you may not, you may just have a hint of maybe it means something, and then 3 or 4 days later it falls into place and you're like, oh my gosh, get a notebook, write that down. Write it down. Said, so bizarre. Yesterday I had two thoughts come in, and then today these things fall into place. You're collecting your own data. What you're doing when you do this, my friends, is you will never need confirmation outside of you. You will never need validation from anybody other than your highest self, from your source, your God, your connection. And that's a really beautiful thing, right? When we step into our own knowing and we're no longer really questioning those gifts and abilities, my friends, life really starts to unfold in such a beautiful way if you trust yourself. If you trust yourself. Charlena says, what does it mean when you have a dream about something and it happens in real life? My friend, that's a premonition. You should be a skeptic. You should be like, wait just a second, this is bizarre. Go get that notebook, write it down, write down the day that you had the dream. And when the thing happens, go write it down. I remember doing that for many, many years. I started doing that when I was 15, my friends. Master says, I got to trust myself more. We all do. We all do. We've all got it. Every one of us has this, by the way. This spiritual connection, call it spiritual insight, divine light, call it science, call it quantum physics. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. And we all have the power to connect to it. But many people are, I dare say, too lazy to do the work to find out. They want to go to somebody else for them to say, yes, you have it. But if you do that, I'm pointing, by the way, so your guides and angels are saying, really listen. If you do that, you know what will happen? You will also need always to go to somebody else for them to validate you and your gift. We don't need that, my friend. If you start your I'm Not Crazy book today, get that notebook, write the things down. Steve, when we're talking dreams, think of it as a thought. When you have a thought or you think of that person and that person calls, go back and write that down. What you're going to find is that in time, when you feel that like, I feel like this means something, you're going to start noticing where you feel that truth in your body. And in time, when you feel the truth, you later will not need confirmation for when it falls into place, because you will know that when you receive in this different way throughout your body, that you will know, like you know what in the world it means. And you don't even have to be there when it falls into place, because you've done the work yourself for it to get there. I'm telling you, my friends, we have a gift. TJ says, God, where'd it go? God will validate you. Just come to him. He wants you to come to him. He loves you. He wants you. Yeah, connect to God, connect to source. You've got that connection. It is an internal connection, and we do all have access to that gift. Matt says, the gift is in you, then it transforms. It's true. So another thing that you might find if you've been on this quest, that you've been on this awakening, is you've been really wanting to shift into this inner peace. That anything that doesn't feel like peace feels, yes, like a disruption. And you may even be, feeling or agonizing over that discomfort, even agonizing like, I'm a spiritual being here in this human life and this experience. It's not always easy, guys. But when you find your connection to you, and you find that within that breath, moment by moment, you're connecting, you're meditating, you're manifesting, you're praying, you're in that divine spirit, you're going to be feeling also that connection to your highest self even evolve and rise more quickly, which is really, really beautiful. MG says, now I'm afraid to call on spirit or source for help. I don't know what to do anymore. I've done so much inner work too. Feel like I've tried it all. I'm sure there's a comment above that I probably missed, my friend. So why are you afraid? Let me look for a second. Yeah, I don't see anything. I want you to understand that we shouldn't have any fear when connecting to source, to God. We should have no fear when connecting to our highest self. We are held and we are cared for, right? There are times, though, sometimes I know some of you, how many of you understand? I say it all the time. Thank God for unanswered prayers. There was a post I made just yesterday that said that even that thing that we prayed for that didn't happen, maybe it actually did end up working for you. Maybe the thing that didn't work out actually did work out, right? So maybe if we just trust the process, sometimes is a really, really beautiful thing. A way for us, again, to get out of our minds and heads about it and into our hearts and grounded within it, right? Tamsin says, it's the fear of not knowing the clarity. So let me say this again with that. So thank you guys, all the comments. I appreciate it. Love it. If you don't know, and if you feel peace in your connection, we must release the attachment to the outcome. That's the thing. That's a beauty. So again, I said it earlier. If you keep connecting to yourself, if you write down in your I'm Not Crazy book, the way that you receive information, Ismail said, patience is key. You are so correct, my friend. I agree with you. And breath is the answer. Look, I'm going to be highlighting all of you tonight. Breath is the answer. I agree. And when we're able to let go of the attachment to the way we think it has to be, we're telling Source God the way that it has to be. Yes, we're saying this is it. How about us receiving, trusting in our divine connection and knowing that we're healing, we're doing the emotional work, we're showing up, we're making sure we're healthy in spirit, mind, emotional health, physical health, all of it. We're doing our work. We're taking care of our spirit. We're taking care of our heart. We receive, and we know, we understand in the way that we receive information. And when we get those gut instincts, we write it down, we take a breath in, and we release it. Letting life and Source God show us the way. Let me tell you what you're going to find when you do that, when you let go of the attachment to the outcome, my friend. You will be so grateful, because let me tell you, it will end up so much better than you can ever imagine. Many of you might be noticing more increased empathy right now, increased and heightened intuition through your awakening, something that helps me. Again, we're going to be talking about this tomorrow night in my VIP inner circle, but that grounding, taking your shoes off, or using the grounding mats that earthing.com has, using any of those different things that can help you really rest your spirit. What I notice is if I'm running around and, I'm a mother and, operating my beautiful business and all of the things, when I'm doing too much, my energy is like the rest of you. So when I'm noticing I'm feeling like this, it's more, and it's time for me to allow myself to be held and be a little more still than I've been. So making sure that you're taking care of yourself by going slower, making sure that you're taking care of yourself by listening, making sure that you're taking care of yourself by writing down again the way that things have fallen into place for you. I have books and books and books of journals, of notebooks where I wrote down premonitions. I wrote down dreams. And very often in the beginning of those books, I didn't write those things down until after it fell into place, right? Because I just thought, that's so interesting. I don't know anything, I knew I had the dream. Maybe I told a sister or a friend. And then it wasn't until, a week or 2 days later when the thing fell into place where I was like, oh my gosh, that's really incredible. That's so interesting, ... The ... means we're not getting our ego in the way, by the way, my friends. We're taking a breath in. There's no ego in the, if we're truly connecting to our spirit, into our heart, that ego is not there. So we really have to make sure that we're separating ourselves from that, right? Mm. Vicky says that's one thing I haven't started doing yet is journaling. And I usually in my own experience don't really call it journaling, because doesn't journaling sound like, ugh, I got to journal? Most people cringe. What I encourage you to do, I have yellow notebooks, like I've got one right here. I've got yellow notebooks that I use. And I use these because those are the journals I started when I was 15. My father always had a plethora of them in his office. And so I would go snatch one out of his business closet here and there. And so I still have a dear heart for those things. But something that I suggest is not getting one pen, beautiful pen, and writing only in that beautiful notebook, only with that one pen, because when you lose your pen, you're not going to ever write anything again. That journal should look well-lived. It should look like you're scratching the information in when you're in a hurry. Doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be used, my friend. Date it. That date when you have and you write down that information. Somebody said sticky notes. Oh, well, do it. Grab a notebook and throw your sticky notes in it and maybe tape them eventually so they don't fly off. But some of my most beautiful, my favorite journals look so well loved. It's like an old Bible, right? The good ones are used, right? Or a good book that really has some beautiful wisdom. And so if you start writing down the way you receive information, my friends, the way you receive confirmations, the way you receive your knowing, like you know, in time when you do that, you're going to see, oh, wait, my mother comes around this time of the year. My mother, I don't feel her always. So in those moments when you haven't felt her and you really need her presence, you can go back to your notebook, take a breath in, and see all of the different, most beautiful ways in the way that she has shown up in your life since her passing. Think about that. How healing would that be, my friends? You're having this spiritual awakening, not just for you, it's for the planet. Think of living or leaving that notebook in your handwriting for these little kids in your family. For little kids that are going to move through similar and difficult situations, right? And when you do that, James says, you just really spoke to me. Thank you, my friend. When you do that, think of the healing that can happen, because Dad experienced that, because Aunt Cortney or this person or that person had that same experience. And man, I felt like I was alone. It takes one to start the process, my friends, and it takes us all. So you saying yes to your own healing journey and spiritual work, which is not easy. It is definitely not easy. You're the one who didn't bet on them just being crazy. You're betting on you having connection and knowing like you know, and doing that inner work to know that you're still and will always be truly connected. Jada says you're never alone. No, we are not. That's right. It's true. So your intuition is heightened, it's increasing. Maybe again, you're questioning, yes, those old beliefs, those things maybe don't work for you any longer in the way that they did before, right? You're having more deja vu experiences where you're like, wait, I've been here, I've done this. You're feeling the multiple layers of time. Time may be feeling really odd lately. I encourage you to go back and start to feel you more. Start to feel your own connection back to you in those moments where you're just questioning it all, right? You may be questioning those relationships and friendships, having clarity in those conversations. Maybe you're having the kind of conversations that you would not have allowed yourself to have before. By the way, my friends, this spiritual awakening isn't just about your own gifts and abilities deepening. Maybe the spiritual awakening for you is just that you're doing better than you were the year before. Maybe you're rising in your empathy. Maybe you're learning to say no. That could be your part of your spiritual awakening. So there's nothing too big and nothing too small when you're on this journey, right? Mm. Yep. Somebody says, yep, intuition is bang on, and anything that does not serve, including people, are falling away. Ah, yes. Ricky says, the new world. We are entering, my friends. If you've listened, many of you have, maybe you're watching this channel because you just found this video. Many of you are here because you're also a fellow forbidden knowledge leader, right? Maybe you're here because you follow the entire channel. You've been awakening. We've been talking about this for many years. And you're here because you're part of that movement that's helping that new world come about. What has been cannot continue. We know this, right? Mercy says the dreams that come true are a bit scary. Yeah, it is very interesting. I've had dreams that have felt frightening, right? I remember having that in the very beginning of the confirmation, right, of those gifts, writing those things down, exhaling the energy out. Most people stay within the drama or the fear of it, though. That's the thing. That's the difference, my friends, with what you guys are doing here today. I'm telling you. You guys are here because you're ready to rise in the frequency. You're not here to keep it in the drama of the connection. There are some seers that stay in that lower level of energy that's going to stay in the frequency of the drama, right? That frenetic energy. And you will see their life is very much matching in that energy. So I ask you, take a breath in. I ask you, is that the kind of energy that we want to sit in? For me, that's a no. I do not want to live there. I don't want to reside there. That stuff's very easy for me to feel, right? It's easier to feel when somebody's sick. It's easy to feel when somebody's hurt. It's easy to feel when somebody's in pain, or even when we can walk into buildings. How many of you are with me? Give me an emoji. How many of you can walk into a building and feel when somebody just had a huge blow up or fight? How many of you can walk into a building and feel the pain that operated in that space, right? How many of you can do that? You can walk in and feel the history. Harmony says me, raising her hand. Gee whiz says me, right? I love it. Many of you. So this is the thing. That is not your only gift. Many of us can do that. Let's take a breath in. Exhale that out. The point for you receiving that is to show you that you can feel it, that you can see it, that you can witness it. And sometimes that pain needs a witness to somebody who's standing in the light. It's not there to drag us down. It's not there to get us wrapped in the drama or the energy of it, but you will find many people that love that and do that. And that's fine, no judgment. But for me, I don't resonate in that energy, okay? I want to rise in my connection to the light. I want to grow and expand in that beautiful abundance in all forms, right? And we can't be operating in this kind of lower grade energy and expect beautiful things to happen in our life, in our children's life, by the way. So what kind of connection are you willing to bring? What kind of connection are you willing to heal? Are you going to do the work to move forward? The whole point of this awakening is for you to bring you closer to you. It really has nothing to do with anybody else, my friend. Yes, as the new earth, as the new world, we're all here. And yes, one light finding their own is a mirror for another light to find their own. And don't beat yourself up. I see James says, I'm trying. Listen, we all have hard days. Every one of us does. But what's the percentage? If we're needing to find that community of people who are going to help lift us when it's a struggle, we've all been there, by the way. And if we're finding that we're circling that drain of people who are connected to really lower grade energy and we're needing to rise and to do something different, we must speak out loud. And if nothing changes, we have to be willing and brave enough to make the change. What do they say? We've got to put that mask on ourselves before we can help anybody else. And so the reason you're going through this is for you to awaken. And when we do that, and we're just mirrors for the next person and the next person, they, through finding themselves, will be able to find their way into doing the same thing in the way that only they can, right? And so while we're all moving and awakening, the world's calling each of us to do that in, again, only the way that you can. What I see is a lot of people say, well, I'm feeling this need to stand up, speak up, to share the gift, but I don't know where to begin. So many people are doing it. So many people are sharing in this way. What in the world do I have to offer? Well, my friend, maybe you have the word for the person sitting next to you in only the way that you could have it. And so I encourage you to, first of all, do this for you. We don't want to go into ego and think it's me, I'm going to help awaken the planet. Well, how about we awaken ourselves first? Do this for our hearts, our own connection to spirit, and start there. Keep breathing into the different moments that show up for us, and somehow that circle of connection grows. And very often life will happen and put you in front of the places that you're supposed to be put. So if there's a book within you right now, many of you are, I know, how many of you guys are creative? Matt says it starts with yourself. It does. It does. So again, asking yourself, am I crazy, is one of the most beautiful gifts we can ask ourselves. If we're healthy, if we're receiving signs and symbols, if we're willing to say, am I making this up? Do I need a psych evaluation? Ask yourself all the hard questions. And if you're connecting over and over, there's a reason you're connecting over and over, and it's because you're ready. You're ready to step into a way that, again, only that you can validate this for yourself, right? I teach development classes. You're more than welcome to do that. That VIP Inner Circle is a beautiful place for you to find like-minded community and connection. But I'm telling you with that I'm Not Crazy book, that notebook of yours is going to help you do wonders. It's one of the most beautiful things you can do for you. And you don't need anybody but a pen. Where's a pen? I'm going to grab a pen. Pen, a notebook, and your heart. That's it. Thank you, my friend. Pray 7. Thank you for that, my friend. I appreciate you so much. G-Wiz says, just finished another painting. I love it. It's one of those things where when you start to step into your full energy, the world can't help but to see it. And the world needs you to step in. You need you to step in. And when you do, you will be amazed. Listening to your inner voice and trusting your intuition. Because you are the master of your own energy. And you learning to know like you know, without any question is exactly why you were here. That is your purpose. That's why you were here on this earth. And so are you going to awaken to your own energy? Most people don't want to do that because they want somebody to give them a list and check marks. Do this, do this, do this, do this. And maybe just you sitting, praying, loving, showing up, and breathing, maybe that's enough. And I'm telling you, that scares a lot of people because they feel like it shouldn't be that easy. And my friend, it is. So keep doing the work. You're having this awakening for a reason. You're witnessing other people awaken for a reason. You're finding them all over the place. And the point of it all is for many of us around this planet to shine our light in only the way that we can. Somebody said gratitude journal. If all you can do is show gratitude, then I think you're starting in the most beautiful place. Master something said, why am I procrastinating? How many of you, raise your hand, my friend, how many of you are procrastinators? I'm raising my hand. Not proud of it. I can procrastinate like the best of them. Me too. It's not easy. Guess what, guys? I'm also an introvert. Most people don't believe that. Yep. How many of you guys? Yep. Look, everybody. Procrastinators, 100%. Somebody said I am. Somebody says, Billy, you look different. Hey, friend. This is Cortney here. Thank you for being here. This is my podcast on Billy's Network, Forbidden Knowledge, and it has been here for 3 years, guys. We've had this podcast every Wednesday for the last 3 years. So I want to ask you where you've been, my friend. Hope you'll come back, connect with us. So yeah, that procrastination, it's something that, ask yourself, what am I blocking? What abundance am I blocking by sitting here? What abundance am I blocking by not getting this done? Ask yourself that. Take a breath and journal that down. You will receive the answers. It's annoying sometimes to ask, but ask. Let's see here. Like Billy says, write 10 things you're grateful for and repeat it 3 times a day for 21 days. I love that. That's beautiful. I love that. Friends, I love you. Listen, thank you so much for being here. Do me a favor. Go over to Cortney Kane, or it's Cosmically Connected with Cortney Kane Sides, my YouTube channel. Do me a favor. Go follow over there. And then make sure you hit up that inner circle. Tomorrow night, I'm having in my VIP inner circle special guest and fellow Forbidden Knowledge. She's been a guest on Forbidden Knowledge before, Olivia Smith. She is with Clint Ober and the Earthing Group and Foundation. She is an author of The Mother Earth Effect with Elizabeth Hoekstra, and she is going to be with us tomorrow night in that VIP inner circle. So go to that website and join that inner circle. It's going to be an amazing time. Listen, you're here for a reason, and you are here to awaken. So step in and quit being afraid of it, my friends. Do me a favor too. Go over to Instagram, find me, Cortney Kane Sides Medium, and I will see you guys there. I love you all so much. There is so much coming. Just hold on, just wait. I can't wait to give you all of the different information of the things that are coming for my inner circle group, and with all of the development and the group sessions coming. So guys, I love you so much. Thank you for being a part of the Great Awakening. We're doing it. So wake up, grab your notebooks, and start validating your own knowing. I love you guys. I'll see you later.